Tell me, Adam, when you think of, I'd say, A-list actor Tom Hardy, where do you picture him? Where do you think he'd be in a saloon somewhere, or somewhere a bit rough and ready? What do you picture when you see him in your head?
Yeah, I think he's in some sleazy but classy pool lounge. Maybe he's at the Ritz. Maybe he's in the Lego store but buying the most expensive set, the Death Star. Something that's rich and luxurious, surely.
Surely. Well, I saw him in Brighton McDonald's just this last. I saw the actual Tom Hardy, Venom himself, Bane, the Cray twins. Yeah, I was in Brighton. It was me, my parents, their friends, Jacob. We were in Brighton. Me and Jacob went off and did a bit of shopping first, and then we were joining them for some drinks after. And we were like, right, before we go get pissed, because that was the plan, let's go grab a chicken. What's it called? A chicken royale? No, a mayo chicken. That's what it's called. Let's go grab a mayo chicken. We were sat there eating away, and I see Tom Hardy walk in front of me with a child, maybe 17, 18, 19. I don't know if he's got kids or anything, but yeah, he was walking, and I just touched Jacob. I was like, that's Tom Hardy. And this girl who was sat opposite me also saw him and looked at me and was like I had no clue who this girl was, but she was looking at me like, is that Tom Hardy? I was like, yeah, that's Tom Hardy. And then I saw him order, I think, a mayo chicken. He left quite swiftly. So I don't know if he actually picked it up, but then he ran out of this McDonald's pretty much. And everyone on that top floor of the shopping mall thing in Brighton was like stopped still and watching, because everyone had noticed it was him. No one was doing anything other than just staring at him, running about. And me and Jake went down the escalator at the same time as him, so we were stood like behind him. I didn't say anything because I'm too scared. And he looked really quite scary, Adam. And then he went in the Lego shop. We saw him go down the stairs, and he went in the Lego shop. Yeah, you were so onto it there. Yeah. So mad.
And I bet he walked out with what films has he been in? Would there be anything on? So surely one of those little Lego Spider-Man mechs, and it's not his Venom per se, but it's him really.
But it is a Venom, and he is now intrinsically linked with Venom. So
some would say symbiotically linked with Venom. Huh?
Very good. I forgot I saw him. That's so random.
I love that. Why is that hotspot for celebrities? Because oh, no, wait, no, it would have been different, because I was in the McDonald's on the seafront at Brighton when I saw Isaac HP, the TikToker. Not quite the same level, but...
Same level, but still... Brighton's a hot spot, full stop, though, I think. Like, they all live there, don't they? Hello and a very happy new year, and welcome to episode 94 of Movie On Up with your hosts, me, Alfie Walker.
And me, Adam Barlow.
Happy New Year, dude. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm very good, thank you. I know you're meant to have a holiday off and feel all refreshed and reborn and rejuvenated and all that, yada, yada, yada. But look, I'm here. I'm alive, I'm kicking. I've just been to the Lego store today. I didn't see Tom Hardy, but I did buy a Lego Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. Faster than fast, quicker than quick. I'm lightning.
Yeah, and other quotes.
Ka-chigga, 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 chigga.
No. Well, what's the one I love from... with a little rusties and an insane amount of luck, you two can look just
like
me. Ka-chow.
How have we not done a Cars 1, 2 and 3 review on this podcast, mate?
That's a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, you and I are both very fond of Cars 2. I remember really liking Cars 3. Haven't ever rewatched it. And Cars 1, obviously, a total classic. And again, really, what I haven't watched for a good few years now. I think I last watched in lockdown, which is far too long ago. So yeah, we should add that to the list for sure. We need to do that.
That's absolutely, when it's a quiet week, we're going to whip out Cars 1, 2 and 3 and shove Finn McMissile on the A-list star.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I mean, there we go. Do you know, that's, I think we pencil that in for the BAFTAs week, just in case we're not invited again. and out of spite, we can pay it no attention whatsoever.
No attention.
And just be like, so
and
this
just
week,
talk about this Pixar film.
a bit of a quiet one. So we're going to talk about Cars 3. Plus all the Meta tunes and the spin-off shows and the Racerama DS game and all that.
I remember having Racerama. You just unlocked a part of my memory. I forgot about that game and you just made it. Oh, wow.
Mate, it's so good. And I had a crush on the cars as well. There's a really cool blue by4 Jeep that you had to race across the desert, I think. But there was also this really suave, sexy racer that was one of the earlier bosses that you had to face. And I always felt bad beating her. But, you know, when you're the fastest racer on the track, who am I to deny my wheels, you know?
What a start to this episode. My goodness. We've got an absolutely jam-packed episode today. We have got the main thing we're talking about here. We're talking about Marty Supreme, the newest film starring Timothee Chalamet. Everyone's excited. Everyone's buzzing. I cannot wait to talk about that. I'm also going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 5. Bit of an overview. Don't really want to spoil it maybe just yet. But yeah, I'm going to talk about that. And then Adam, what other films did you catch?
I caught Song Sung Blue, the sort of strange biopic about a tribute band to Noel Diamond, starring Kate Hudson and good old Hugh Jackman.
That joke's going to go over anyone's head if they haven't seen the TikTok.
Yeah,
if you just how we like our jokes, nice and niche.
Yeah, that's how they should be. And I also saw Anaconda starring Paul Rudd and Jack Black, which again is also a really strange premise. So I'm going to sort of blitz through those two reviews a little later on in the show. But as you said, Marty Supreme is up first, starring Timothee Chalamet, an actor who we gave the title of Best Actor at the Moving Uppies last year. So the sad thing is, Timmy, I'm afraid you may have won the Critics' Choice Award last night, but you haven't won the Moving Uppies again because we can't give it to you twice in a row.
Well, yeah, quite right. And the release date is the 1st of January, right? So if anything, he's going to get it next year for this film.
For Marty Supreme, I think it's Boxing Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, well, maybe he will then. Maybe he will.
Boxing Day in the back of every TikTok. So I loved it. I can't wait to talk about it. But I think if you've never listened to Moving Up before, hello. Thank you for tuning in. This is a great year to join the podcast because 2026, as you probably know if you're a fan of film, is set to be huge with Avengers Doomsday, Dune Part 3, with the new Spielberg film.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's it. So many, I can't even formulate a
Mandalorian
list.
and Grogu.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not long. That is on the horizon as well. That's only May, isn't it?
Creeping up. They're all creeping up. It's going to be a big year, but every year's a big year. But hopefully this is going to be a big year for us as well, because we've spoken about doing some changes for a long, long, long time, but we're finally going to get to grips a bit and do that. It's exciting, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. And we appreciate all your support. We've got a couple of emails later on. So keep getting in touch with the show. Let us know what you want us to cover this year. There's loads of it, but we're going to try our best and try and sift through the best and the worst, because, you know, a bad review is just as funny and just as entertaining as watching a good film in my books.
Wow.
Ella McKay.
Spoken like a, yeah, right? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Not naming names. Ella McKay.
Capital E Ella, capital M McKay. Let us know if you saw Ella McKay. I would love to know if anyone else saw it, because I don't think they did.
You're wasting your breath. Absolutely no one saw that. Not even the guy that stands with a bin at the end of the screening. Like he just walked in, left it there. I don't think he bothered to clean the seats.
You know, you get the if a tree falls in the woods, does anyone hear it? Do you think if no one turns up to watch Ella McKay, they still play it?
Absolutely not. They do. They just play a 2-hour video of paint drying, and they're like, yeah, that'll do.
I'd buy a ticket to that.
It's a huge social experiment where half the audience have watched that video and the other half have watched Ella McKay, so-called movie that came out last year, and no one can quite tell which version of the film you saw. I hated it.
Enough of bad films, though. Should we talk about a bloody excellent film?
Yes, that sounds good to me, mate.
Let's talk about Marty Supreme.
If you're a fan of setting people on fire in a gas station, being slapped by a ping pong paddle, or the fertilization process in the vagina, where does that happen? The no, not the urethra. That's not right at all.
You're asking the wrong man. Of all your friends, ask any of the others, mate.
Long story short, if you like those three things,
and Tyler the Creator.
Oh, and wait, yeah. Oh, I didn't even put that together. I saw people saying, "Oh, Tyler the Creator and Marty Supreme," and then sort of totally forgot about it. And I couldn't tell you one thing about Tyler the Creator. That's how
white you are.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah. But I didn't even know he was Tyler the Creator, and I was like, "Oh, who's this newcomer? He's great. He's a really good actor. He's brilliant in this."
Yeah, excellent. This film, mate, where do we start? I think it is so bloody good. It is I might look through my letterbox and work out where the last film was I had this much sort of fun and energy and enthusiasm. And the moment I walk out that cinema, I went 5 stars. And often I think we can do that, and you sit on it for a couple of days and you go, okay, maybe not. But if anything with this one, it has improved with me thinking about it over the past sort of 5 days since I've seen it. I thought it was so good.
That's really great to hear. I think I'm in the same boat with you, because the hype for this film was something else. I mean, it's an A24 film. I think it's been the most successful in its sort of early, opening weekend and first week of it being in cinemas. But the absolute hype train behind this, Timothee Chalamet was doing collabs with everyone under the sun, SD Kid, and he had everyone wrapped around his finger, and everyone knew Marty Supreme, Boxing Day. Everyone knew the orange colour scheme. They knew the sort of memes and the photos of him looking happy with a paddleboard, looking sad without, not a paddleboard, that's a different thing, a ping pong paddle. Table tennis,
ping pong paddle.
Yeah, that's too fun to say. That's ping pong paddle, ping pong paddle, ping pong paddle,
ping pong paddle,
ping pong paddle. Table tennis racket, no. Ping pong paddle, yeah. Table tennis, not sexy. Ping pong, sexy.
No. Ping pong, sexy.
Anyway, yeah, Timothée Chalamet just putting in an absolute shift to promote this, and it's paid off. So let's get into it. How would you even describe this film, Alf?
Difficult question, mate. For 2 people who do reviews, I'm struggling to review this one. It really feels like an anxiety attack of a film. That's all I could say. It feels like from the moment you go in, it is absolute full steam ahead. So we're following, what's his name? Marty Mauser, isn't it? Yeah, Marty Mauser as I guess, shoe shop worker. He works in his uncle's shoe shop, and he has a dream of winning the world championship at table tennis or ping pong. Which, are they the same thing, right?
I don't know.
I was always under the impression they weren't, but
maybe.
I'll go with they are. But yeah, it follows him and his journey and his absolute sort of con his way to the top and scheme, and it's just got an insane sort of plot development. When I told my parents, you need to go watch this film, my mum watched the trailer and she was like, but I don't really want to go watch a film about ping pong. But I was like, this film is not about ping pong. Like, that is absolutely the underlying current and the through line and the orange ping pong ball and his mission with that and where he wants to go. Absolutely. All of the things that happen in between that get him there are what keep this film turning and pumping along and make it so enjoyable. Like, it's really, really great. And I don't really want to spoil it yet, I don't think, because I think going into this not knowing what happens would be a real treat for someone.
Yeah. If you've seen other Safdie brothers films, namely Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler or A Good Time with Robert Pattinson, you'll know the kind of breakneck speed and pace that this film it moves at. It's totally in the vein of those films. And when you've got someone like Timothée Chalamet, it's hard for me to tell sometimes whether or not he's kind of a bit cocky, but then you go and see him in a film like this and you're like, oh, I can't hate you, man. You're so damn charismatic and talented. And I'm like, I can't, if anything is putting me off, it's like how sort of self-confident he is. But like, I think we're conditioned, certainly as the British public, to be quite self-deprecating and be like, oh, just be very humble and keep your head down. But Timmy is an example of a modern day movie star who knows that he's got sauce. And you can't knock him for it. And he is absolutely brilliant in this film. And you've got to mention as well Josh Safdie. So his brother went off and did the Smashing Machine
Yeah.
with good old The Rock, Mr. Rock. And I go back and listen to my review from autumn last year, and you'll hear that I liked it. I was a little bit underwhelmed, and I don't think it's going to ultimately be that memorable. But this film is head and shoulders above that, I've got to say. Not that it's a competition between brothers, but this is for sure the better of the two. And it's kind of sad because people have said, well, now I know who the baddest Safdie brother is. But I'm like, well, you can't knock Benny either, because he's in The Odyssey next year with Christopher Nolan. He was in Oppenheimer, and he shows up and does a really great job as these small side characters, and I think is probably shifting his focus to be more of an actor. And, to each their own. I think he's doing a good job of that.
He's voicing Bowser Jr. in the Super Mario Galaxy film this year as well.
Great. Excellent. I mean, that's his
I think you're
Oscar.
right. Yeah, right. He's definitely pursuing the acting route more than the directing route, which, I mean, still good, still admirable, still highly praised. Like,
yeah, for sure. So we've mentioned Timmy, obviously, Tyler the Creator, very good. You've got Gwyneth Paltrow in there, who is an actor I'm not always bowled over by, but I thought she had a very complex place in this film. I thought her role was interesting and not at all a traditional role, like she was sort of three-dimensional and really just an engaging character, because you're never quite sure how much she knows and how cottoned on and how in tune she is with Marty's plan. You've got Kevin O'Leary in there, who plays Milton Rockwell, the owner of Rockwell Inc. And I didn't know that this guy wasn't an actor, and it's only after the film that I found out he's from Shark Tank, which, as far as I know, is what the American version of Dragon's Den. So
it's the equivalent of having Deborah Meaden in a film, or Duncan Valentine in a film. He fooled me, because my God, he's excellent at being evil, but slightly, they're all charming. I think that's what's got me, is that no matter their role in this, like you said, Timmy, he's obnoxious, he's cocky, Marty is really quite unlikable, but they've all got a slight sort of charm to them that just pulls you in. And like you said, even with what was his name? Sorry, who's from Shark Tank?
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah, just something about him that's really pulls you in. That scene towards the end with the table tennis racket that will be flying through the internet when the film's released on home video. I can see the TikTok edits now. Like, it's so conniving, and I thought he was excellent in this.
100%. I think the music as well deserves a shout out. You've got Tears for Fears in there. You've got, who sings it, but Forever Young, which is a song I absolutely adore.
It's Alphaville, I believe.
Yes, yeah. Oh, what a great needle drop that is. I know they used it in the trailer very effectively, might I add, but to hear it also have a role in the film was just really nice. I liked the fact that also the score, who did the score actually? Let me double check that. That was also just full of kinetic energy. Again, feels like a shot of espresso. And I think when you watch this film, it brought back the similar feelings that I had when watching Challengers. Kind of a similar film, actually, now I think about it. But you've got the same energy. What was it you called an espresso shot last year? Was it The Substance, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's got that kind of nastiness, but also it's quite a camp film as well, I would say. Like, Marty Mazur is a complete cartoonish buffoon who's so, his ego is so self-inflated, it's ridiculous. But then also he does have the talent to back it up. So it's like, well, I'm not quite sure where to draw the line here, but he definitely makes bad decisions and he doesn't look out for the people he loves. And oh my goodness, we haven't even mentioned Odessa A'zion, who I don't think I've seen in anything before, but she stole her scenes for me. I thought she was magnificent, particularly there's a scene that she has in a car in the back half. I won't say anything more. That was really, really great. And I think I can definitely see her getting a supporting actress nomination. She's only 25 years old as well. I wish I hadn't looked that up. What have I achieved? I'm only 2 years younger.
No way. Bloody hell.
Damn it.
I think, like you said, where it's got that real sort of kinetic energy and so many twists and turns, it almost becomes a bit surreal. Like you said, Marty is sort of such a caricature almost at some point. He's so over the top horrible almost. Like he's so demeaning and uses people. And then you've got scenes like the scene with his table tennis guy who was the Jew, and had the scene with the honey. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, it just feels slightly surreal. You got like that scene where with the bath, just out of nowhere, these things happen. You've got like a car crash. You've got that whole bit where they do the scam, and I thought it was like a flashback at first.
Yeah,
And I was
same.
like, oh no, wait, no, this is happening as we're going. Like, it just comes out of nowhere at like a breakneck speed, and I just was like, it keeps you on your toes, keeps you engaged. It's funny as hell. I was laughing and smiling when they were saying lines of dialogue. When you've got Marty, when he gets introduced to Gwyneth Paltrow's character first, and he just calls her, and he's stood on the bed in like a Crombie coat with underwear on, and she's getting all dressed up in her hotel room, and he just like flirts his way into her life almost. He's a no one almost, isn't he? Ping pong is nothing. No one cares about it. And yet he works his way on the phone with her, and you can see she's intrigued by him. I just think it is quite campy. It's quite over the top. It's got surreal moments, but I think it just keeps it turning. I think it's so engaging.
Yeah. And a lot of that is down to the editing. I can think of several moments in the film where just the fact that it quick cuts to something else gets a laugh from the audience. Like, and as you say, the dialogue, everyone is really charming and smarmy though at the same time. And the moment where a necklace is involved, and as part of his harebrained scheme to, raise money for this trip to Tokyo at the back half of the film, he's like, he loses the jewelry, or they give it away, and it quick cuts, and he's like, "Can you get another one?" And then she's like, "Are you kidding me?" And it's so fast paced and yeah, just so energized, and you can feel the sort of the weight of the film like throwing itself around, and it's kind of a miracle that it all holds together. But that's totally down to Josh Safdie, who has steered this ship that so easily could have been, a bit odd, a little bit, as you say, with the bathtub falling through the floor. There's moments that happen, and you're like, what's actually going on here? Like, what's real? Why should I care about any of this if everyone's gonna just walk away scot-free? Like, it all builds up and escalates so brilliantly well. And when it all does come to a head in the final act, and with the sort of, I'd almost say when he goes to Tokyo, that's almost an epilogue. And then I know you have another epilogue after that, really, which is back in America, which again, I won't spoil, but definitely made me tear up. It ends in such a beautiful, connected way that then just sort of pulls the rug from under you, and you're like, oh, it's actually not about anything of like, it's almost not important. It's this thing that was there right at the start, and I think it works so well. And I'm really excited to watch it again.
I think you mentioned the ping pong balls, and I've seen so many people hating almost on. I've seen some people saying they hated this film, which blows my mind. But I've seen so many people saying like this plot line it's just forgotten about, and I don't know if people are going into it maybe a little bit too black and white, and just the whole thing with the ping pong balls is so clearly a metaphor or analogy for what's going on with his life, and you obviously get what happens with the balls just before the end. It's clearly meant to be the whole like oranges down the stairs in The Godfather, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's I think it really brings it all to a climax, and from that moment on, you've got what happens, and like you said, using the Tokyo trip almost as not the finale, like the film's kind of over. Like, I think you're excited for him to get to a point, and then you get the news when he's in Tokyo, and you're like, oh right, okay, we're not getting that. That's not what this film's been about. This film is about his con man journey almost to getting where he wants to be, and like you said, pulling the rug from under him. It's all collapsed. It's all the end of, and like you said, it ties it up so nicely with the bit back in America at the end. You see a slightly different side to him, but then you can also still see maybe he's crying for a different reason here.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. I think it's such a well thought out film, and I think the pacing of it, where it all grinds to this huge halt at the end, is like so perfect.
Absolutely, Alf. And all that is to say that if you are worried about the state of cinema in 2026 and you haven't had a chance to see Timothee Chalamet in a star turn, and I think a performance that he's very likely to win the Oscar for, frankly, then go out and see Marty Supreme, because it's a shining example of what can happen when you give a director a decent budget and just let him tell a story that is unique and interesting and exciting, and then you just market it to the Gen Z generation who then
The
spread
TikTok audience, you really do.
spread the good word, and look what happens. A24 have got a huge hit on their hands, and that's a studio who always do well, but this particularly so. So absolutely, if our words have inspired you to go out and see it, then do check it out and get in touch with the show. Let us know what you think of it. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Netflix's biggest show has come to a closing. Adam, did you ever catch any of Stranger Things in the past 10 years?
Don't call me out like that. I've been busy for 10 years. I'm sorry. No, I've watched the first episode, I think, when I was trying to impress a girl back in 2019. And truth be told, I watched it quite late at night. And when they get zapped by the phone, I think it's, who is it? Not Sigourney Weaver. I get them mixed up. Winona Ryder. She gets zapped by the phone on the wall, and that was like, oh no, this is too freaky. I don't like this. So I never watched it any further. But I've seen clips of it, and obviously you've got to be aware, at least to some degree, of Stranger Things. It's a juggernaut thing, and it's mad that it's come to close. I even though I haven't watched it, I'm sure I'll go back and watch it, and I'll be out of touch, and I'll have no one to speak to about it. But that's fine. That's my problem. I just hope that they stuck the landing, so I'm eager to hear what you think of the finale.
Might have jinxed it there, mate. It's a cultural phenomenon. It's a absolute moment in time. It's been 10 years or 9 years. I think it's 2016 to now. It's kind of insane, the like impact just on popular culture and all that kind of thing. So we've got 5 seasons. Season 1 had it was very much based on E.T. from the like references and the sort of slight plot line, almost a bit Twin Peaks as well, with this real sort of dark, sinister, a bit X-Files of the government. It takes as many 80s things as it can in one and combine them. But season 1 is a real sort of a high point. It could be a great sort of one-off show where you just have one season, a limited series. Season 2 was similar. We then got season 3, which definitely diverted into being a bit more self-referential, a bit more comical, a bit lighter in its sort of cinematography, a bit more 80s basically. Season 4, that aired when we were in first year of uni. So it was a while ago, and there's been a huge gap between season 4 and season 5. Season 5 is hit. They've done a weird release schedule where we've got 3 episodes dropping in November. We then had 3 more episodes dropping in December. And then we had the final episode drop on New Year's Day in the UK, it was. In conclusion, I cried a lot. It wrapped it up. It wrapped the stories up. Me and Lenny watched it. Sort of in a bittersweet way. I obviously enjoyed it. The thing to preface with is that I didn't hate this finale, but because I've spent so much time with it and everyone spent so much time, it's almost getting into that Game of Thrones thing where unfortunately the finale hasn't stuck the landing quite as everyone would have liked. And unfortunately, everyone's feeling a little bit sort of shortchanged, a little bit betrayed, which I think is because we all felt so passionate about the first lot of seasons, about season 1, 2, 3, 4. You then get this final one and it didn't stick the landing quite as well. It feels, the term I'd use is it feels like it jumped the shark, which is sad, but that's exactly what happened to Game of Thrones. And back in the day, that's exactly what happened to Lost as well, where they try to wrap up this show. The actors have become too big and they've almost outgrown the show, but they still need them to come back for another season. And like I said, if that first season was in 2020, what was our first year at uni, Adam? 2021?
Yeah, or 2022. I think it might come out in the spring, I want to say.
Yeah, so it's a good sort of, what's that, 2-3 years? Yeah, 3 years. It's a long time to wait for a season, and when you've got kid actors, it's very visibly noticeable that they are significantly older now, and they do feel like they've just outgrown it a slight bit, and it doesn't stick that landing. They've unfortunately left so many loose ends, which people, that's the main thing people are moaning about. There were so many things promised in the previous seasons, and even in the build up to this season, the writers, the directors, the Duff brothers, they were saying, you're going to get an answer to this, you're going to get an answer to that. And we didn't. Nothing was delivered on. There's a moment, this might sound, it might be a bit ambiguous to you, but there's a moment in the first season, the first episode, where the creature, the Demogorgon, is chasing Will, and the door on his house unlocks, like kinetically. Something unlocks it. And over the past however many seasons, we've never gotten an answer to who did that, because the creature that was chasing him doesn't have that kind of power. And in the build up to this, they were going, yep, you're going to find out in season 5 who did that. It's all going to pull back round. It just was never answered. They just didn't. Why did they say in the press tour, you're getting an answer for this, when you don't? There's so many plot lines that they've unfortunately forgotten. I'll rattle through a few that I put down as the most noticeable. And obviously they won't mean much to you, but to anyone listening. Max being blind. She was blind in the previous season. She's not now. What happened there? There was more creatures. So there was demo bats, so bat creatures. They disappeared this season. In the final fight, there was no monsters. Where had they all gone? We've been told this was their homeland and they were there, and then they were all gone. The importance of like the date. It was a huge thing in the previous seasons. His birthday was on this date. The Upside Down is stuck on this date. There was a real sort of time travel element that seemed like it was coming in. Never mentioned it. There was quite a big character from season 2, 3, 4. You've completely forgotten about. Has no ending. Wasn't in this season. There's a huge unresolved plot line with like the military, and this group of kids have been killing military like with machine guns for this whole season. They just don't address it. They get off scot-free. It just feels rushed. It felt almost like a video game boss fight at the end. It was so bombastic. I can't believe that the cinematographer in those previous seasons, and even though it evolved from season 1 through to season 4, it did change. It just feels so green screeny in this, and it's such a shame because there's a real sort of physicality to the previous seasons. There's this really famous scene now. It's everyone's favorite scene from the previous season, where you've got one of the characters trying to escape basically a dream, almost a mind, and it plays the Kate Bush running up that hill. And she's trying to escape, and she's in this world, and there's like lightning flashing, and you can see she's physically in it. She's lit up red because where she is red. They recreate it in this season, but you can see she's just on a green screen running. Like, she's lit up white and the whole back of it is red. It just feels so rushed. It's, like I said, the best comparison I've got to it is unfortunately Game of Thrones. I don't think it's that bad, because Game of Thrones truly was next level bad. I will never watch the final 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. If I do a rewatch, I'll watch season 1 to 4, maybe 5, and I will stop there. Whereas this, I will rewatch this season. It was by no means that bad. There's an element that they've introduced where they have basically done a prequel to Stranger Things as a stage play, as a show on the West End and on Broadway. But obviously that means that you're unveiling all this information to only a very small audience, that it's then quite important to this season. And it's just such a weird choice to not professionally film the stage play and upload it to Netflix for people, because there's so many things missing that I only know now because I've gone away and read some reviews of the stage play. Like, it just feels quite choppy almost. They've had 3 years to do this landmark thing. It's Netflix's biggest show, and they didn't stick the landing. On all of that, they wrapped it up with the conclusion. It felt a bit like the Return of the King, where you have about 12 different endings when you jump from place to place, because there's so many characters. I cried a hell of a lot. It did get me. I think it's always gonna, because you've just got that emotional connection. The acting from, I think her name's Nell Fisher. She's the kid actor in this. She's sort of brand new, really. She's been recast. And I think she's got the most amount of screen time, which is insane when you've got this huge sort of character roster from the previous seasons. And you introduce this new character almost, and she's got the main amount of screen time. And she is an absolutely great kid actor. She steals the show. I think she would have been, I'm going to guess, about 12 when she filmed this, maybe 13. She's obviously a little bit older now. But my God, she's just so great. It's a kid actor. This show has good kid actors, full stop. But to come into a show this late in and take center stage, and yet she really does well in every scene she's in, it's quite great. You've also got Jamie Campbell-Bower, who plays the main villain in it, basically. He was only introduced last season. He's in this season. Scenes he's in as well, absolutely steals it. There's some real emotional scenes where he has some flashbacks to him as a kid and the trauma he's been through. Yeah, absolutely great. And famously, they have some excellent song choices in there. You've got the needle drop of When Doves Cry by Prince. And then the one that they've been raving about is Purple Rain by Prince, because apparently that's impossible to be able to use in a film or TV show. Apparently the rights are really exclusive. And they got that for their kicker moment when you say goodbye to a character.
Nice.
And it kicks you right. It really does. And the show ended with Heroes as well, which it's used the cover of Heroes twice before. And then it used the actual David Bowie version here as the credits rolled. It felt like a film, this final episode. The whole season is a bit tumultuous. I think it peaked at the beginning, in my opinion. And there is so much, unfortunately, wrong with it. But I think hype and expectation, unfortunately, hits a high, and it's impossible for them to just live up to that. So I'd never say, like I would Game of Thrones, I'd say stop, don't watch the final seasons. I'd never say that about this. I think it does tie up some things really well. It has an emotional kick. There are some good scenes in there. It's just unfortunate that there's just one too many plot holes or one too many plot lines that were just left unresolved. I know you said at the beginning, eventually you'll watch it. I would recommend it. I think now you've sort of delved into the more horror-y stuff, and season 4 and this season do get quite horror-y. It's really influenced by like Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger. I think you'd appreciate it now, and you'd really like the sci-fi elements as well. So I'd 100% recommend watching it, mate. But it's such a shame that it just didn't quite stick the landing as everyone would have loved it to, because it could have gone down as a real sort of huge show that's great, that full on the whole way through. Unfortunately, it didn't quite get that. I've not seen much about this one, Adam. So this is a Neil Diamond tribute band kind of biopic type thing going on. Song Sung Blue with Hugh Jackman doing lots of singing. How was it?
Yeah, that description you've just given it is sort of my approach to going into the film as well. It came out on New Year's Day, so I didn't see it on the 1st of January, but I did go on the 2nd, and it was the first film I saw this year. So it kind of had a bit of, it's got a bit of weight on its shoulders. It's like, you better be good, otherwise this year's off to a bad start. And we were saying before the podcast, before we started recording, we've had a lot of kind of 3.5, 4-star films recently. And I think this is one that you could add to the pile. It's definitely worth a watch, because you might think, well, that's a weird premise for a film. What do you mean, a biopic of Neil Diamond? No, it's a tribute band for Neil Diamond. And you're like, okay. But it actually totally works, because their story is genuinely remarkable. And I'm one of these geezers who will watch a film, and if it's like based on a true story, I'm like sitting forward in my seat already. And obviously these films aren't made unless this true story is pretty cool or incredibly profound or sad, and this film's kind of all three of those things. So you've got real heartbreak in here. There's a turning point halfway through with Kate Hudson's character that is really devastating, and then any other film would be the third act. And I thought, we must be near the end of the film, but no, it gets like worse and more sad from there, with Hugh Jackman's character, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is just so sad, but it's also at the same time wonderfully joyous about the music of Neil Diamond, which sounds niche, but it's also about the art of performing in itself and how that's a healing thing for so many people, how you can fall in love through art. Just the first half of this film, in comparison to the latter half, is so good at radiating warmth. And I was tapping my toes to the songs. I don't know Neil Diamond beyond Sweet Caroline, who does? But he's a really great artist and clearly has got lots of good songs. And when you've got Hugh Jackman in the lead role, is he doing P.T. Barnum from The Greatest Showman? Absolutely. But he's got longer hair. Okay, he's got longer hair, and he's got a nickname. He's Lightning, and Kate Hudson's character is Thunder. And it's just their chemistry. Yeah, right. Their chemistry is so sweet, and you genuinely buy into them as a couple. Like, it's hard for me to watch any performance from Hugh Jackman and not just see Wolverine or just see Hugh Jackman the actor. But in this, I did begin to see him fade behind the character, behind the main man. I just found it to be like really such a kind of tonally, not inconsistent because that makes it sound bad, but it will go from one scene that's triumphant into the next scene like a wrecking ball through a wall, and you're like, no, all of a sudden I'm crying, and you're sort of, you walk out of it like, oh no, I don't know if I should be ready for the year ahead or if I should just sack it all off now. You're not quite sure how to feel by the end of it. It's such a roller coaster, but it's absolutely melodramatic. But then you go and read the true story of the people behind it, and they did a 2008 documentary with the same title, and it follows. I should give the names: Mike Sardina and his wife Claire, and their story is absolutely fascinating and well worth turning into a film because, as I say, it's sad but also so life affirming in the same way. So, is it a little bit Oscar bait? Perhaps. That's what I've seen most people say, but I went into it not really expecting that. I kind of was like, okay, I'd heard some people really liked it and others were like, yeah, it's just Oscar bait. So it was hard to know what exactly to expect. But I think it was a fairly pleasant surprise. And as I say, I would recommend it. It's a bit of a tough sell because it is a tricky one to summarize. But if you like Hugh Jackman, if you like Kate Hudson, they're both in it. They both sing, and very well, might I add. And it's just a really interesting story that I think you'd have a good time with. There's some good jokes in there, good humour, some good levity, which is much needed. But you will definitely sob your heart out by the end of it because it just gets you in the feels, and it doesn't, it maybe doesn't do it in the most subtle way, but then they are adapting a real life story, so you're kind of like, well, how much can I actually critique it for that when the story is so full of whiplash? It's difficult, but I liked it. I don't think it will be in my top 10 of the year, but I'm glad I saw it. And if you have a cinema card that gets you discounted tickets, absolutely go and see it. It'll be worth it for that. I think the parents will enjoy this. If you're middle-aged out there and you like a good story with sort of heart and singing, then you'll definitely have a good time. It's just, I think, get over that hurdle initially of like, what actually is this? And you'll discover that it's actually, it's a very good, if slightly messy, time at the cinema. Which brings me on to Anaconda as well. So not
tonal whiplash of the century there, my goodness.
Anaconda will not make you cry, I'm glad to say, unless it's tears of laughter. Now, I've seen pretty much across the board pretty dire reviews for this. I saw the trailer many a time. They really did shove it down your throats if you went to the cinema at any time at all in the last 3 or 4 months. But it's Jack Black, Paul Rudd basically shouting at each other for a whole film, and it's very meta, and it should not work. This is a sort of meta reboot of a 1997 horror film that's literally just a snake. So if you've got a phobia of snakes, do not see this. My mum, we tried to get her to go and see it. She was like, absolutely not. We're like, do you want to see the trailer? She was like, absolutely not. I said, okay, we're not going to convince you here. That's fine. But we went along. I think I'd had about 2 or 3 pints before. I must preface.
Maybe a good idea.
Yes.
I feel like that's probably quite a good lubricant to get you into this film.
Yes, exactly that. But you know what? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't laughing at every scene. It is sort of so bombastic and truly daft that you kind of don't know if the film's meant to be that silly. Like how self-aware is it? It's obviously very meta and self-referential to the original film. They break the fourth wall all the time. And it's a reminder, it's a really helpful reminder actually, that Paul Rudd and Jack Black are very good comedic actors. And I think their chemistry in this just about holds the whole thing together. Because I really did find them very funny here. And I've seen, Jack Black most recently in things like a Minecraft movie and God, what else did he do? Oh, Kung Fu Panda 4 last year. Don't get me started. And I was just like, mate, you've really sold yourself out here, and you've become a bit of a caricature of yourself. The way you're just doing rock singing randomly, and it's not very funny. It's got a bit tired. Like in 2008, it was funny, but not in 2025. And then you cut to this. Is he doing anything massively different? No, but for whatever reason, his character just felt a little bit more similar to his role in School of Rock.
Right.
Which is
like
probably
Jack Black that we like.
Yeah, it's like comparing apples with oranges, but I thought he was just really, you could tell he had a kind heart in this film. And it's basically them trying to reboot Anaconda. If you've seen the trailer, you'll know the premise. It's really just that. And they have a snake initially, but that snake gets killed. So then they have to go and find their own snake, which turns out to be a massive fuck off anaconda, which is giant. Like it's a dinosaur movie. I'm not gonna lie, it's a dinosaur movie. That's what this is. I think they even referenced Jurassic Park at some point. But I think the thing I liked about it most, apart from Paul Rudd and Jack Black's performances, albeit very good, Steve Zahn's very good as well from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films. Brilliant scene stealer there, and Tansy Newton as well. Also plays a role very well. But the thing I loved most is that high degree of fourth wall breaking, where there's a subplot in this where their production of the film's gone to the pan. Like it's absolutely like right off. They want to go home. You've also got like jungle terrorists in here as well, which is just I'm not even going to get into it. Just watch the film. But there's a subplot in here where they see another huge boat go past them on the down this Brazilian river, and down the Amazon River, that's the one. And it's a Sony production crew making an Anaconda reboot. And you're like, fuck's sake. It's just such a great sight gag. And the whole film's full of it. And it really shouldn't work. And for most people, it hasn't. But after 2 pints, what can I say? I really did find it funny. And it's stupid. Will I ever watch it again? Probably not. Can I wholeheartedly recommend it? Probably not. But as I say, if you've got 2-3 mates or siblings that are like, yeah, we'll go see Anaconda, as long as they've not got a phobia of snakes, I think you'll have just a silly
fun time.
Yeah, do not take this seriously. Don't go in with the critics hat on, because I could rip this to shreds. But I've already used up that token in the last month for Ella McKay, and I don't want to do it again. So instead, Anaconda, you get a free pass here. I'm as surprised as you are, guys. Listeners, if you think I've been replaced by someone over Christmas, I can neither confirm nor deny.
We've got 2 emails this week, one from a newbie, so I'm excited to read these. First one is from Jenna. Hey guys. Have been really looking forward to hearing your review on Fire and Ash. Myself and my brother just recently went to the cinema as they were re-showing The Way of Water in preparation for this new release. So I feel that it was almost a detriment watching the second Avatar so recently to seeing the film, as it could have been shot for shot at some points. And I'm a bit upset as I didn't want to feel this way towards the film as we've waited so long for the release. Without any spoilers, we had Tuck complaining that she wanted to go home, same as the second film. Spider being kidnapped, same as the second film. Big action fight on ships in water, same as the second film. And I just already know that the armless Tolkien hunter guy is going to come back in the 4th film, armless and legless.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
I just feel that they really need to do something different for the fourth film. Yes, there were developments to move the world forward in the film, but I didn't feel that there was enough to warrant a whole film around it, unfortunately. That's pretty much exactly what you said as well, wasn't it? Like, I mean, you were maybe a little bit more positive towards it, but you said that just nothing really happened and it's the same film.
Yeah, it's the way that they start the film is pretty much the way that they end it, bar one thing. And that's not enough to warrant a film that's 3.5 hours. Like, that is ridiculous.
It's egregious, isn't it? Yeah.
It really
absolutely.
is. It feels like a lot of floundering. And while it is my favourite film in the trilogy, and I think I stand by that, I've seen it again since recording that in review. Jenna, you're absolutely right how similar it is. It's kind of criminal. I just feel like if James Cameron really had this vision for so long, for decades, as he so claims, you'd think you'd have noticed how similar they are, but apparently not. It's a real shame that it doesn't give you a little bit more. It's almost like you could just watch this as its own sort of bottle episode and love it for what it is. But the second you add any context to it, you're like, oh, yeah, this is pointless, which is a real shame. And if I'm honest, when I rewatched it, while I still had fun, I did nod off for a bit. I sort of knew I'd already seen it. I was like, you know what? I don't need to prove it to myself. I don't need to stay awake for 3.5 hours if I've already seen this. I just felt the length, if I'm honest. I didn't need the toilet, so that was a plus. But I agree. I think since my review, it has slightly, to use a word from the last film, watered down in quality since then, or burnt to the ground.
Jenna goes on and says, I fear that Avatar has this whole nostalgia and groundbreaking cinema around it that people will come to see a new Avatar film regardless of the plot. However, I feel that it may be wearing off to newer viewers now. This may be more to do with the casual viewer wanting so much so fast nowadays, though. So I am already hoping that we can hold on to the nostalgia of it all and also hope for a bit of a greater plot development alongside that. Hopefully that's not too much to ask for. I also hope that the next film we don't have someone who falls asleep next to and in the cinema and starts snoring 30 mins in, who I awkwardly have to elbow to wake up, but make it look like I'm just grabbing my drink. Was it you, Adam?
Was that you, Jenna?
Wait, me and my siblings are planning. This is great. Me and my siblings are planning to do a really random double bill of Marty Supreme and Anaconda this weekend, where we expect to see some of the best performances of the year, alongside Timothee Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow. Loving the podcast as always. Hope you're both having a great Christmas and New Year. Here's to another amazing year of Movie On Up. Cheers, Jenna. that double bill's great.
I didn't even mention that. That's exactly what I did, and it worked.
No way.
Yeah. I saw Anaconda afterwards, so really it should have been even worse in contrast to Marty Supreme. But you know what? I liked how different they were, and it's a reminder that you can see a film that's great and have a brilliant time, and you can also see a film that's kind of crap, but you can also have a great time at the cinema, and it's sort of a win-win situation, and you've got to love it. Viva la cinema. We've also got an email, I think, from Luke here, who is Jenna's brother. Can we confirm that? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I can confirm that.
Our insiders have confirmed. Oh yeah, it literally says in the first paragraph. Okay, ignore me. Hi guys, I've been listening to the podcast over the last couple of months after my sister Jenna encouraged me to listen. I wanted to say thank you, as week after week you have managed to make me laugh even when times have been tougher. I found myself going back to some older episodes after watching the films mentioned, and also found myself watching films you've talked about. Thank you very much. Fire and Ash was both me and Jenna's first time watching a film in IMAX. Oh, that's incredible.
That's cool, yeah.
I bet that was a great experience. While it was cool to experience, despite initial problems with the 3D leading to having to rewatch the first few minutes, we couldn't help but feel partly underwhelmed, but agreed that may be down to the cinema in which we saw it. Having been a huge Avatar fan for the past couple of years, I was really excited to see Fire and Ash last week. However, I can't help but feel the pacing and plot of the film was all over the place, and efforts to wrap up loose ends, in case Avatar 4 doesn't get the green light, can only be compared to the sloppy efforts of the crew behind the Fantastic Beasts franchise. See, this reveals a lot about me, because famously I quite like the Fantastic Beasts film. We've all got our vices, what can I say?
That's so funny. Yeah, Adam is a huge proprietor of the Fantastic Beasts films.
Can I just say, Fantastic Beasts in my mind is better than Avatar. I take those 3 films over this.
I'd rather
Even
watch
though,
them than Avatar, though. I don't really
really,
like the Avatar films. I've said that before. Yeah.
yeah. He goes on, while the VFX work continues to be the highlight of the experience, the character work here is also very well done, with the core characters of the Sully family all having well-rounded arcs across this and The Way of Water. I was wondering how you guys felt this compared to the rest of the series, as well as if you think the Avatar movies deserve the critical and box office acclaim that they receive. We haven't really talked about that, but it did cross $1 billion, so it's still doing very, very well. That's pretty much confirmed. Avatar 4's on the way, right? Although I don't know if it's been announced officially, but yeah, any film that gets $1 billion is bound to, be a green light to someone in the industry. And yeah, I think we can expect James Cameron's vision of 5 films to still come through, I think, even if the next one is a stinker as well, but we will see. And he wraps up the email here. We also found ourselves watching Eternity following your recommendation. Cannot believe it didn't get more media attention or buzz. It was also a fun interactive experience as we found ourselves fighting over Elizabeth Olsen. And Callum Turner, yeah, damn right. As we're at the end of the year with 2025 awards season fast approaching, I'm also curious to hear what performances you feel have earned their place for nominations. P.S. Follow me on Letterboxd here. It would make my year. Oh, hang on, let me click on that. Let me give you a shout out very quick. Luke1510. There we go. Listeners, add him up. You know what to do. By the way, his top 4, do you want to hear that?
Yeah, go for it. Let's air him. Air that dirty laundry.
Yeah. Back to the Future Part 1. Beetlejuice, the original.
Nice.
The original Scream.
Nice.
And the Suicide Squad. Now, what that tells me is you're a man who likes a bit of risk, a little bit of horror in there, a little bit of fantasy, and a little bit of camp, which I love. So I think on that basis, get back in touch, Luke. I'm dying to know what you thought of Anaconda, because it could go one of 2 ways. I think, judging by that top 4, I think you've probably had a brilliant time, but I'd be interested. Maybe I've got that wrong.
What Suicide Squad? The first one or the second one?
Oh, the second one. Come on, God, that really would be.
Okay, right. I got worried. I thought you meant the first one. I was a bit like, oh
no. No. Yeah, Luke, banned from the show. No.
A couple of things. I really appreciate that first line there, Luke. Like, honestly, seeing someone say that makes me so happy and makes me actually think worthwhile doing this, because sometimes we look at ourselves and go, why am I still doing this? Not getting anything out of it. And then I remember that I spend time with... Oi, let me finish. Then I sit here. I can be in the most miserable mood, right? I could be... Today is the first Monday back at work of January. I have felt like shit all day. And jumping on a call with Adam, my mood immediately changes. Like in an instant. I don't get how it happens. So it just proves the power of chatting with someone you like. And then I see a line like that where you said, you've made me laugh when times have been tougher. And it's actually like made my day. So yeah, appreciate that. Second thing, please let us know what you think of Anaconda, and then tell me what cinema you saw this in. Because if it's The View in Portsmouth, oh my God, it's a shithole, Adam. It is so bad. No joke. When we were watching Wicked Part 2, there's this huge mark on the screen, and just the entire time all I could see was this big smudge over Glinda's face. It was so fucking annoying. It is not a nice cinema. It just needs a bit of upkeep, and it annoys me because it's the only one I can go to. There's no Odeon. The Cineworld's too far away, and I don't drive, so I can't get to an Everyman or a smaller one that's near. So I'm stuck with The View.
And you don't like The View? The View is bad.
I don't. The View is bad. The View is very bad.
View, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, please get in touch. We'll do a whole episode just saying how great The View in Portsmouth is. We'll turn everything around, don't worry. We'll do adverts.
You can
we'll
pay
do
for
anything.
my driving lessons so I can go to a different cinema. At the end of Luke's email there, he said, we're at the end of 2026 award season, fast approaching. I'm curious to hear what performances you feel have earned their place. Well, why don't you tune in to next week's episode where we are going to be doing the movie on Uppies. So we did these last year, just a bit of playing around where we would give our top performances. Have you got the categories in front of you that we did last year? It might be worth mentioning them.
Yes, off the top of my head, they were best film, worst film, best actor, best actress, best score, biggest surprise and biggest disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
there you go. So
all that to look forward to. And I think we're going to potentially, I know you're putting you on the spot here, but shall we add in some more fun niche categories as well, perhaps?
absolutely. We said about this, and we add in a couple of new categories each year. We go on with doing this to add a bit of fun, something a bit different. So if you're listening, email in, let us know maybe what new categories we could do or which films you think fit into those. And like we said, the moving uppies that we do are going to be calendar year. So a little spoiler, at the beginning of the year, Adam said that We Live in Time is like one of his favorite films that he's seen. So that could be in this year's Movie on Uppies, because it was all the way back in January 2025 and we're going all the way up till the final day of January with them. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, let us know what you think of the show. Let us know anything you'd like us to review. Let us know who would be in your Movie on Uppies, who's your best actor of the year, that kind of thing. Please do email in. It's hello@movieonup.com.
Definitely. And to get involved with the Moving Uppies, we've been doing some polls on our Instagram stories as well. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok. The handles for those platforms are at Movie on Up. Go and check it out.
Absolutely. Next week, like we said, it will be the Movie on Uppies. We aren't really going to be reviewing any films from what we're aware. Maybe I will have caught up on a few by then, like Hamner and One Battle After Another. So I mentioned them briefly. And Adam, you said you might go see Giant, but
yeah, I think Pierce Brosnan's in there, so I'm always up to see what he's up to in his acting career. So yeah, stay tuned. But whichever way the cookie crumbles, it's going to be a bloody good episode next week. So definitely turn on your notifications, smash that like button, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. All right.
excellent. No, that's a great sign off. Start doing that more often.